Spending thousands on Performance Max and not achieving the sales and ROAS targets? It's probably your structure. Let me show you why. Google ad structure is one of the most important yet misunderstood factors affecting performance for Google Shopping. Yes, I know there's so much conflicting advice surrounding the best account structure that to get a simple answer is near impossible, with those arguing for simplified campaigns and those arguing for segmentation. The truth is 80%, forget that, 95% of so-called Google Ads experts don't actually know how to structure a Performance Max Google Ads account for real success. For years, the advice was simple: match your campaigns to your website structure, focus on high converting products, optimize for ROAS. But now, AI has thrown a massive spanner in the works. Shopping campaigns that used to deliver for you are now struggling to hit ROI targets. And Performance Max is both the solution and part of the problem. So here's what you're up against in 2025. First, we have the 30 in 30 rule. Google wants 30 conversions in 30 days before AI even starts optimizing properly. If your campaigns can't hit that, you're basically flying blind. Second, there's a delayed feedback loops. When you make a change to the campaigns, you have to wait 2 to 4 weeks to see any performance shift. Yet most clients expect results tomorrow. Third, scaling really does kill ROI, especially when your campaigns include branded traffic. You increase the budget, but returns fall off the edge of the cliff, bang. It feels like you've got no control over ROI. Fourth, there's an over-reliance on branded searches. Performance Max often cannibalizes branded keywords, taking credit for easy conversions you would have got anyway. Fifth, Performance Max tends to push only your top performing products or your highest converted listings. Other products get no visibility, so they never get a chance to sell. Oh, nearly forgot to introduce myself. I'm John Langley, founder of Click Convert Marketing with a 20+ Google Ads team. We've generated 1.5 billion in revenue. I know, lots of zeros. We've got offices in Santa Rosa, Wine Country, San Francisco and Wrexham. Yes, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, world famous soccer team. It's just down the road down there. Okay, this video has been delayed and it's been incredibly busy here at Click Convert, but I'm back again, here I am. So back to the good stuff. You will have noticed that pure shopping is on the decline, and I believe it's due to the changing search behavior. People aren't just searching on Google anymore, they're searching on YouTube, the second biggest search engine in the world. And Google Shopping campaigns, they don't touch YouTube, but Performance Max does. It taps into Google Search, Search Partners, YouTube, Display, Gmail and Discover. That's why you've probably seen the rise of automated feed-only Performance Max services. They skip asset groups entirely, no headlines, no visuals, just product feeds, aka listing groups. And guess what? They often perform really well. And that's because those feed-only campaigns stick to high converting formats. Google Shopping, which is search, YouTube shopping carousels, dynamic search placements, Gmail and Discovery feeds, not overly keen on them, but they're not wasting money on weak banner ads or generic text. But here's the balancing act. Let's say you've got two campaigns. One's got 10 ROI, one's got a 3 ROI. And your goal is a 7 ROI on average. If you split the budget evenly, you're going to miss the mark. You need smart budget allocation. More to the top, less to the laggard. Yet you cannot turn off low performers. You've got that inventory, it's sitting in that warehouse now, it's using your capital, it's burning warehouse costs, and it has to sell. But when you consolidate into fewer campaigns, the level of control disappears, and often only top performers get the clicks and conversions. The rest of your inventory does not sell. So, what's the solution? Some traditional shopping campaigns still work, and I always recommend running a low bid shopping campaign as your first move. This approach takes advantage of a long-standing algorithm quirk in Google Ads, giving you high ROI and ultra low click costs. It doesn't always work, but do try it. I'll put a low bid shopping strategy link down below in the description. But let's not forget that low bid shopping campaigns have another crucial role. It provides better visibility into search terms and allows you to find negative keywords to apply to Performance Max. So That's the quick win, it's out of the way. Let's talk about some real strategies. The biggest issue with most advice out there is it assumes you're working with a big account, large budgets, thousands of products, tons of conversions. But what if you're like the 90% of advertisers spending under 15k a month who can't hit 30 conversions in 30 days regularly? What do we do? So let's look how we fix that. We need a conversion strategy for low volume accounts. So if you're not hitting 30 conversions, try setting up add to basket and begin checkout as a conversion action and mark them as primary conversions. This gives Google a signal that it can optimize. After all, if we're getting add to baskets and begin checkouts, they should lead to sales. Now, I know what you're going to say, won't that screw up my conversion data once I hit 30 conversions? Yeah, it can. So here's the trick. Once your campaign is performing, move add to basket or the other conversions you put in there to a secondary conversion. But there's a warning. Secondary conversions still affect optimizations, especially if you've got things like time on site on there. And if you don't want Google chasing these, you may have to delete them. Okay, starting out with a smart kindergarten campaign. Unless you've got high conversion volumes, often you can skip complex setups. You need to start with a kindergarten campaign, and that's a consolidated performance campaign with a single asset group, one listing group, no fluff, leave out all the assets, add copy and visuals. Your goal here is to segment your product feed either by the product type, Google category, or one of your custom labels. These could be price bands. It's important that the segmentation you choose shows you which groups are performing, and you'll need this later to analyze performance and start breaking out the winners, losers and underperformers. Don't forget negative keywords. You can add them at campaign level, you can add them at account level. We all know it's basic hygiene now, but most people don't do it. You also need search term visibility to get those negatives, and Performance Max doesn't give us that easily. So just like I told you about the low budget, low bid shopping campaign, we'll use those just to farm for search terms, so negatives. Brilliant. Got the negatives done. Time to break out the kindergarten campaign because we've got some data. Once your kindergarten campaign starts converting at 30 conversions in 30 days, you have options. The classic advice is to break out the high performing products into another asset group within the Performance Max. It will not affect the performance, it will just make it performance reporting easier. You can see which asset groups are actually then working. Once one of your asset groups starts achieving 30 conversions in 30 days, you can now separate it out into its own Performance Max campaign. But make sure the original performance campaign stays above 30 conversions in 30 days. It's a threshold we have to observe. So why should we break them out? There's two huge reasons. ROI control. Multi-asset campaigns apply the same ROAS target to everything. So if you break them out, it lets you create either high ROAS focused campaigns such as high, medium and low ROI campaigns, or maybe you want product groupings. And importantly, you can then control the budget allocation as you need to. We can also get campaign targeting level signals. You can now customize the goals, locations, audiences and signals for that individual PMAX. Scalability. Breaking into a PMAX campaign allows more budget for your converting products. But more interestingly, those products left in the kindergarten finally have a chance to obtain clicks, and they can suddenly start converting at a good rate too. You also get more focused learning and optimization when a PMAX campaign has a clear focus, e.g. one product category. Google's algorithm can optimize faster and better. One of the problems we run into is that scaling budget kills conversions, and it's a big issue. Most performance campaigns rely on brand traffic, and it's great at first, but when you scale budget, ROI often drops off a cliff. Now why? It's because as you increase budget, Google runs out of brand traffic. PMax does rely heavily on your brand traffic, and it's learned that as a trick. When you scale the budgets, at some point it runs out of brand traffic and starts looking for new traffic, and often starts chasing lower quality users that aren't as ready to convert. You've trained AI on brand, and now it's got no idea what to do when it runs out. So what's the fix? I would duplicate the Performance Max campaign in question. I would exclude the brand traffic, and you can either start over by I suppose, doing a kindergarten campaign and repeat the whole process but exclusions for a brand, or if we stay with copying the Performance Max campaign and you can afford to go through the learning phase, then I would do that, but I would make sure we've got the brand exclusion there. And this leaves your existing PMax campaigns converting while you explore for new customers. We need to talk about the feedback loop strategy. Another approach that is gaining a lot of attention is this feedback loop. Most advertisers don't analyze product performance deeply enough. And it's complex, it takes time. So we use a product here called Product Hero. It's a third-party feed tool and it categorizes products into 4 buckets. So we use heroes, these are the high ROAS, high volume. Nice name. We've got sidekicks, high ROAS, but there's not much volume. We've got zombies, I like the name of that one. No volume, no conversions, so they're just zombies wandering around. And we've got villains, the arch enemies, high spend, no conversions. And these categories are then assigned to their own campaigns. And the strategy can vary. You could group heroes and sidekicks together, or you could go for a hero campaign, a sidekick campaign. You can maybe call it zombie cleanup or villain suppression as your creative. At its simplest level, that's 4 campaigns, each with a different ROAS target and budget. Now, the interesting part is that zombies, no volume, no conversions, suddenly come to life as they access the budget and clicks, as I described earlier. Even villains, the ones with no sales but clicks, often surprise us by suddenly generating conversions with positive ROIs. The flip side here is that heroes can suddenly struggle, and I believe it's smaller accounts that the products don't repeat enough purchases, so we haven't got enough data. I suppose you could expand this further by applying these 4 levels of categorizations to tags across. So you could maybe do it by brands and have 4 different levels of brands, product categories, or custom labels. So you could segment them by those 4 levels. And I suppose you could also just have our heroes, sidekicks, and then we could do brand v non-brand segmentation, okay? And that would give you even more control when you're scaling. The feedback loop approach needs to be used with care and phased in over time. If you're not careful, you could move everything over to the product hero approach, turn off everything you've got at the moment, and you could get some serious problems. So what I'd do is I'd leave the existing running and phase in the hero approach over here. However, if your data is so corrupt and you've had problems with conversion tracking and problems like that, then it may be worthwhile. You've got no other option, you might as well start afresh on that one. Oh, beware this new one called Incremental Sales pitch. Often it's a single kindergarten approach, and it's used as a sleight of hand approach by agencies pushing incremental sales. It's a bit like the 3-card or the 3-ball hustle used by tricksters. They'll name the campaign along the lines of incremental sales with promises of additional sales or slow selling products. It sounds appealing. They can optimize the titles and they're going to do other custom label groupings. They'll start a new merchant center, they'll create that, it's added to the account. It's interesting because if you connect 2 merchant centers to a Google Ads account, but append, say, a hyphen and 2 extra characters at the end of every product ID, Google sees these as new products in the merchant center and it lets you run the product twice in the shopping results, pushing out competitors. That is a good technique, I will acknowledge. But back to the incremental sales hustle, as the IDs are now new, they don't appear to compete with your existing campaigns and the product ideas. But that's not true. The truth is, the new incremental sales campaign has no optimization, the titles are not changed, and whilst custom labels or price bending do exist in the feed, they are not used. With every product in a single Performance Max, the AI can just set about finding easy sales. And what it's doing, it's moving sales away from your existing campaigns into the incremental sales campaign. So, what's the problem? The problem is these agencies charge you 20% of the incremental sales campaigns conversion value, and I've even seen them introducing inflated conversion tracking values too, so they're even increasing the conversion values. Often you'll find a total absence of negative keywords, the campaign goals are often just maximize conversion values and there's no ROI target. So you gain no new sales, but you hand over 20% of your cheated sales from your other campaigns. So I'd watch out for this approach and I'd avoid it, okay? I'm not selling the names of the companies, but there's a few of them out there. However, this technique does teach us that a second merchant center running with high ROAS targets, forcing low CPCs, can be easily set up, and it might be worth running that as a test in your Performance Max campaigns. Okay, my final thoughts. Often, one of the biggest issues with Performance Max is that a few products take all the budget, effectively starving other products of any clicks. Hopefully, these strategies will give you a better understanding of how to structure Performance Max so it actually to work, and how it's important to keep breaking out at the minimum level of 30 conversions in 30 days. This approach allows you to distribute budgets in a controlled manner to balance the ROI to obtain your overall objectives. Okay, so I hope that was useful. Oh, there's a new AI reporting system out now in Google Ads, and I'm going to do a video on that. It's really insightful. We can get some really valuable data out there. It's revolutionized reporting. As ever, if you need any help with Google Ads, take us up on a free Google Ads review. Hit us up at Click Convert Marketing. I'll put the link down below as well. I've had quite a few people reach out to me privately and ask about how do you start an agency, how do you get into it. So I am thinking about putting a course together about how you set up an agency, how you get your first sales, how you scale the sales, how you deliver the services, all the good stuff you need to know about running an agency and making a profit. Anyway, if you're interested in that, just let me know. Anyway, till next time, thanks very much for watching, guys. See you again.